Hey, we got some good interviews coming up this week and in the following week, but I was just made aware of a certain particular court case that I'm sure we all remember the gross murder in Arizona, the Mesa, Arizona PD, who killed that dude in the hallway. Well, the officer that pulled the trigger was let off, but the commanding officer who was giving all of the commands and pretty much intensifying the situation, he still has charges against him, and they moved for a motion to dismiss those charges in court, and the judge pretty much said no. So that guy Langley, who was the commanding officer, the one that was being super aggressive and giving the commands, even though he didn't pull the trigger, he's still going to be brought up on charges. Now, this guy left and fled for the Philippines, so I'm not sure if he's going to be asked to come back. But if anyone's seen that video that happened in Arizona with the hotel shooting with the officers, where someone said he had a gun, but no, he's an exterminator. He has a pellet gun that he uses to do his job with, where he's on the ground and they're telling him to, put your leg up and touch your ass and then float. Don't. He goes to adjust his underwear because they're making him pretty much slide on the ground, and then they shoot. They pretty much execute him right there in that hallway. The commanding officer was the one being aggressive. The guy that pulled the trigger, him getting let off, is a little bit suspect to me. But the guy who was being the aggressor, pretty much was the one escalating that situation. And it goes like with the same thing with Charles Manson. He never set foot in one of those houses where those murders were committed, but he got a death sentence because he was the one influencing the situation. So, good news in that front. Daniel Shaver had a wife, and it was just one of the most gross things that I've ever seen in my whole entire life, the way that he was killed like that. So, good news that the commanding officer, they moved to get the charges thrown out or get the charges dismissed, but that commanding officer Langley is going to be brought up on charges. I hope that this is a lesson that we could all learn from, and and I hope there's some kind of justice for that family, because what happened there was gross. It was an assassination. It was an execution. Mesa, Arizona PD is also involved in another similar situation that just happened. The body cam and the bird's eye view happened. Camera information just came out. I think it was Friday, where it was almost a similar situation. They're asking someone to comply, but this guy was basically just doing nothing. He wasn't. He was just kind of leaning against the wall, and they assaulted him. And that Mesa, Arizona Police Department has a lot of work to do to clean up their act, because it's just gross what's coming out. And it's cool to say that guy Langley is going to be, they moved to dismiss his charges. Once I get more information, I'll try and spread it. This just seemed like too long of a Facebook post to do, so I just decided to go live, and I want people to be aware of this particular situation. And I don't demonize cops as a whole. I view each individual case as an individual case, but this one was probably the grossest one that I've ever seen. And good news on that front. That guy who was being just ridiculous is going to now hopefully be brought up on charges, and that family can get some closure. So We'll have some good interviews coming up this next week. I think we're gonna have 2, and then there's a bunch more in the making, and I'll let you know when and where and who when we get all that stuff sorted. But anyways, happy Sunday. Hope everybody is enjoying themselves.